Hey everyone, it's Megan with the Crafty Planner Lover here, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. In today's video, we are going to be planning in my Temu reading planner for A Court of Mist and Fury. I am so excited about this because I finally finished the second book in the A Court of series by Sarah J Maas, and I did do a plan with me on A Court of Thorns and Roses, right, that's Throne of Glass, that's not it, oh it's this one, right here, using SammyLynnPlanning's, I believe it's Forest Fairy Kit. So we're going to be using a few of those. But our main kit that we're going to be using at this time are these beautiful fairies from SerilynArt. I thought these were perfect. They don't technically fit the Feyre vibe to the actual theme of A Court of Mist and Fury, but I like them and I think they're very cute. So I decided that we would use those for this spread. If you want to see how I've set up my reading planner or any of the books that I have done previously, so far I have done Throne of Glass, A Court of Thorns and Roses, Fourth Wing, and and Crown of Midnight. So if you're interested in seeing those, definitely check them out. I will have them linked all in a playlist on my channel, so you can see that if you're interested. Before we do that though, I do want to let you know, just like in any of my other reading planner videos, I will be doing some spoiler talk. I will put a spoiler warning if you don't want to be spoiled by the whole overall talk of A Court of Mist and Fury. So let's go ahead and begin. Just like in any of my other videos, we are going to cover up this section because it already repeats over here. So this is where we're going to add some deco. And then we're also going to cover up the quote to remember portion because I don't really need quotes. We aren't going to cover up a quote to remember this time because there is a specific quote from this book that I want to have in here. So we're not going to cover that up. Okay, so A Court of Mist and Fury is the second book in the ACOTAR series. A Court of Thorns and Roses is what ACOTAR stands for, by the way. So I'm assuming that you've already read A Court of Thorns and Roses by the time you're watching this video, right? So that is a spoiler warning in itself. We're going to be talking about things that happened in A Court of Thorns and Roses, which is the first book in this series. So if you haven't read that, I highly recommend you read it or put this video on mute so that you don't hear me talk about it and you just watch the actual plan with me. But like I said, this is the second installment of the A Court of Thorns and Roses series. So this book is following the events that happened after A Court of Thorns and Roses. So Feyre is dealing with, she's the main character in this book, she is dealing with the post-traumatic stress that occurred while she was under the mountain and trying to save Tamlin from the horrors of Amarantha, however you say her name. She was trying to save Tamlin from those horrors. So the first part of this book basically goes through, well, not the first part, a few bits of this book, the whole book really, honestly, goes through her, her feelings throughout it. It talks about like her post-traumatic stress. It talks about, the fears that she was having. She would wake up with nightmares and night terrors, and she would just be going through these terrors. And at the end of the first book, I'm trying to figure out which fairy to use, because I want to use one of them. I'm thinking this one. So at the end of the first book, one of the things that helped Feyre get through Under the Mountain was the agreement that she made with Rysand, who is he is the High Lord of the Night Court, And he's supposed to be this like super scary, super bad character in the book. And he saved her life because she was dying from the wounds that she suffered in the previous book. So she made a deal that she would go to, like, she would, in order to save herself and Tamlin, she agreed to go once a month to his court and, you know, do whatever he wanted as far as, like, working or whatever. She didn't really know what the bargain was. So this is talking about how she honors that agreement, you know, and Rhysand comes and he takes her to his court for a couple, like, it's a week, I think it's a week at a time every month. And she's going through these feelings as she's, you know, trying to process everything that happened under the mountain, and she's realizing that she fought more for Tamlin than he did for her. So basically she's going through those realizations throughout the book, and she is realizing things that happened and how the events of A Court of Thorns and Roses affected her just in every way. So it's basically a story about going through her stress, her going through everything and realizing that she is nobody's property and that she is a strong, independent woman, and she is not going to be tied down by certain rules and certain obligations. And she just grows into this really awesome person throughout the book. And it, like, there were times where I was clapping for her, like, not physically, but I was like, yes, Feyre, yes, like, throughout the book. And I really, really loved that. So this book has been just a really, really strong female empowerment is what I would like to call it. She was really, I don't know how to explain it without, like, giving things away, but she was really strong throughout the whole book. There were moments where I was like, yes, Feyre, and there are certain parts in the book and the chapters that I had some feelings towards, and I was very happy that certain events actually took place. We're not going to get into that because spoilers, but I was very pleased with the way the book, I wouldn't say I was pleased with the way the book ended. I'd say I was pleased with how certain events were led to take place. I hope that makes sense, because I'm trying to give you a review knowing that you've read A Court of Thorns and Roses, but you haven't quite read A Court of Mist and Fury. I'm trying to be not spoily. Okay, so now let's talk spoilers. Tamlin, I can understand why people call him Tampon. I really do. I'm sorry to say this, and I'm sorry if you guys are like, language. He pissed me off. He pissed me off so much in this book. I could not stop yelling at my book, and there were times where my sister's dog, Bruce, just kind of stared at me as if to say, Megan, shut up. It's just a book. And I'm like, yes, I'm aware it's just a book. Thank you. But, like, he really, like, made me angry. And I had a whole conversation with my sister about this. I was like, listen, we need to talk about Tampon here because he made me so mad. And both my sisters have read the book. They've understood, like, they know my anger towards Tamlin. And you guys probably understand the whole anger situation if you've, you know, read the book and, you know, understand my frustration. I'm trying to find a good sticker to use as a title. That's what I'm doing right now. So I'm talking spoilers now so that you don't get anything ruined. Okay, so I loved the relationship that blossomed between Feyre and Rhysand. I thought that was just absolutely magical, and I was really, really happy with the way their relationship continued to bloom and blossom. I was smiling the whole time as she was coming to the realization that he was not going to hold her back. He was going to make sure that, ooh, we'll use this one. He was going to make sure that she knew how to fight, that she knew how to defend herself, because part of the things that happened in this book is Tampon, we're going to call him Tampon now because I don't like him, he kept holding her back. He kept holding Feyre back and saying, like, out of love, no, I don't want anything to happen to you. You're, you know, my best friend. You're my best person. I love you so much. We can't come with me to fight because I can't risk losing you again, which I get. You know, I understand that that is something that is a fear that could have happened. I'm not in a relationship. I've never been in a relationship, but I could understand, you know, that fear. I could get that. You know, I can get behind that. But what I could not get behind was the fact that he used that fear over her, and he literally, like, he was putting her in another prison. And that's something that she came to realize too. And I was like, Feyre, please. I know you love this boy, but like, he's toxic. He's not good for you. And the events that come through as you learn about Rysand and his court and, you know, his history, you find out like Tamlin did some really bad stuff. Like he's not a good character for me. I don't like him. I think he is not good for Feyre, and I'm glad that she came to that realization throughout the book, because if she didn't, I was going to be really mad, and I probably would have put the book down. That's how mad I was at Feyre for, like, not coming to the realization quick enough. But going back to Feyre and Rysand's relationship, okay, I loved it. I loved their relationship. And I genuinely thought that something was going to happen to him, because it just seemed too good, you know, like the relationship just seemed too strong. It seemed too happy. And I was really scared something was going to happen, which technically something did happen. I'm not going to really talk about it because, again, I don't want to spoil it too much, you know, like you got to have some mystery. But I was very interested with the ending of the book. I really loved that Feyre is now a high lady of court. I thought that was amazing. That was a really cool fact. And like, she tackled all of the, as being a high fae, every one of the high lords basically unknowingly gave her a sliver of their power, right? So like, Rysand can manipulate like shadows and stuff. So he knowingly gave that to her. And like one of the court, I think it was the autumn court? No, the summer court, he can like control like seas and like things like that. And she conquered those pretty quickly, like not as quickly as I would have expected, but like pretty quickly. She was pretty fast in conquering those things, and I thought that was really, really cool of Sarah J Maas to make that as part of like her transformation from this weak little human into this bad ass fae who like takes no crap from anybody. I just really, really loved this book. It was so cool to see her transform and grow throughout the book. And I really, like I said, I really loved Rysand and her relationship. Okay, so the only thing you missed if you skipped past the spoilers is I added this. I moved some elements around and included this for the title. So basically my whole thoughts about A Court of Mist and Fury, it was a really good book. I really love Feyre's transformation from scared, timid girl to a badass. I really loved it. I thought it was a great, great book. Well, I went over the box because I have giant handwriting, but oh well. Okay, I did a really bad job at this, but you get the gist. You can understand what it's saying. So, okay, let's add all of the information. This is Sarah J Maas. Okay, I started A Court of Mist and Fury. I wrote it down on June 12th, and I finished it on June 26th. And let's see how many pages there are. Probably quite a few. 624 pages. What did I give Crown of Midnight? I gave it a 7.5. And I really liked Crown of Midnight. It's not as good as Fourth Wing, so I'm not going to give it an 8. I think I might give it a 7. You know what? I actually liked it the same amount of interest that I liked A Court of Thorns and Roses, so I'm going to give it the same review. I gave this a 7.5. Yeah, 7.5. So I'm going to give it the same stars as this one because I do agree that it was pretty good. I definitely think that this is a good book. I really liked it. I might like, my sister said I might like A Court of Wings and Ruin better because I was very invested in this book. Actually, Sarah J Maas's books are kind of slow burns in general, so keep that in mind. If you don't like the book at first, just give it a few minutes. Give it a couple of chapters. Give it through halfway the book and you might find it more interesting. All right, everyone, that is my review for A Court of Mist and Fury. Overall, I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was absolutely amazing through the second half of the book. I really, really, really enjoyed Feyre's transformation. If you like this video and you want to see more from me, please don't forget to hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you are notified when I post new videos. Don't forget to check out my entire playlist of series that I've done with this book, and don't forget to comment down below what you thought about A Court of Mist and Fury. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, read on. Bye, guys.